You know how Disney keeps smashing out live-action remakes of the films they have already done? We all wonder why they do this when really we know why they do this, which it really kind of upsets me because I love Disney. Since day one, I have only ever seen 2 of the Disney live-action films, those being The Jungle Book and Beauty and the Beast. And now, after this video, it's 3. As originally, I kinda just wanted to talk about the original 1998 animated film, Mulan. But I also want to talk about these live-action films, so I thought for a new series, let's do a versus review, where I get to talk about both and see which one comes out on top. Hey there guys, it's me, the Average Critic. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and let's do our first versus video, Mulan 1998 versus Mulan 2020. Let's go. You see, Mulan will always be very special to me because it is one of the first films I remember watching in the movie theatre. In fact, it actually might have been the first, or at least the first one I can remember. And as someone who loves the culture of Chinese and Japanese, Shang-Chi is my favourite MCU solo film, Enter the Dragon is a classic, The Last Samurai, and hilariously, any film with Jackie Chan. I love martial art movies. So I was deeply excited to find out the live-action remake of Mulan was coming, and I thought it made sense from a design perspective, from a story. Some remakes don't need to happen, but Mulan, I was really excited for. So let's talk about the original film, which to this day still holds up. The animation is really colourful and fun, 2D animation still holds up, and this is part of the classic Disney Renaissance period. Mulan is such a wonderful character, and part of that is definitely down to her casting. Ming-Na Wen, I really hope I'm saying that name correctly, does a beautiful job as this character. Her voice is just so soft-spoken, and you really feel the character pushing through, which for an animated movie is definitely always something you need. The cast of this entire movie is fantastic. Even B.D. Wong, who I totally forgot was in this movie, James Hong, whose voice I just absolutely love, and everyone's voice just really stands out and feels fun and likeable. Nothing ever feels bland or out of place. Even characters that are voiced by non-Asian actors all feel fun and stand out. You can tell the cast had fun playing these roles. And then there's Mushu, played by the wonderful Eddie Murphy, when Eddie Murphy was basically in every movie in the late 90s and early 2000s. For the most part, Mushu works. He's not as fun as, say, the genie from Aladdin or even Olaf from Frozen, but he does make you laugh. Mushu is very close to being an annoying character, but he does bring a sense of fun and breaks up the tension, which is sometimes what you need in animated films. I didn't much care for his reason for being there, but I kind of get it and I do enjoy his character. The cast of Mulan 2020, however, is fine, I guess. For me, the standout is Donnie Yen as Commander Tung. He brings a fun energy to the film that I always enjoy. Although I don't know why he isn't just called Shang, as they cut some characters in this movie. Some of them I totally get, like Mushu, but why did they just not keep the character of Shang? They changed the love interest to someone else, and I just kinda don't know why. Yifei Liu, I'm probably definitely butchering that name, who plays the incredible role of Mulan, is just not as engaging as her animated counterpart. She's meant to be this character who is different and isn't some lady who just wants to settle down and get married. She just feels boring. Some dialogue isn't delivered very well, and that's not just from her. Even Jet Li, who is such an icon, has some terrible delivery of dialogue. However, that being said, English is obviously a second language for these actors, and I would definitely loved a native language version with subtitles. I get why Disney didn't do this, but some of their best films in the world have subtitles, and it's definitely a missed opportunity. With regards to the film's cast, characters like Mushu were scratched, which I was very much happy about, as I really can't see him working with this type of style of movie. Some are reshaped, like the character of Cricket, which I was kind of okay with. I haven't read the original book this film is based off, but they add characters like Mulan having a sister, and Gong Li plays a witch with some weird kind of magic powers with her dress. It's very, very weird. And both of these characters kind of had nothing to the story. Gong Li's character just shows up and has some terrible CGI fights, and feels absolutely pointless. I can't think why Mulan has a sister, as she does nothing for the story or the plot. Apparently the character was created to add more tension for Mulan, but she doesn't need that. In fact, her being an only only child adds more motivation because she has no one to lean on. Like her animated counterpart, both of her parents want her to keep to the traditions and get married. No one supports her. In the live action version, you can see she gets on very well with her sister and they have a strong bond. Therefore, it doesn't add to any of the tension and the pressure of sticking to the traditions that Mulan doesn't support. Her sister also has a serious fear of spiders, which is just kind of there and it's pointless. It never really comes up again apart from a tiny little joke at the end of the film. Both of these characters are completely pointless and I cannot see why they are in this movie. Let's talk about the music of Mulan, as this film's musical soundtrack is probably one of the most talked about today. The music of Mulan is incredibly fun. Make a Man Out of You obviously has to come up. This beautiful montage of them training again is just fun and inspiring. All the songs feel fun and integral to the story. A Girl Worth Fighting For is this fun song with that brilliant and abrupt ending as they see the village destroyed. This is what makes Mulan really stand out, as it isn't afraid to talk about serious topics like war. This scene is just chilling and you really feel the threat of the villain, and to be fair, the live action version also does this scene very well. Both films do a great job of creating the atmosphere of warfare and it is chilling to watch on both ends. For the live action version, the musical score is completely scrapped, which I do think is a good thing, as it stops this film from being a direct copy. You do hear a few of the original songs hidden in the soundtrack, and if you're paying attention, it is a lovely nod to the original without it being too much in your face. And I do enjoy the music of the 2020 version. It feels traditional and beautiful to listen to. You can enjoy both for what you want at the time. If you want a fun musical, listen to the original. If you want something more serious and traditional, listen to the live action version. So in terms of music, both films do that well for what they are meant to achieve. When Mulan was announced to getting its live action counterpart, I was of course looking forward to some glorious fight sequences. The original Mulan does of course have some fight sequences, but of course being an animated musical family film, it isn't the main focus. Of course Mulan kicks absolute ass in this film, we love it, but compared to something like Lightyear or even How to Train Your Dragon, Mulan's focus isn't on action sequences, which is fine of course. However, a live action version should definitely contain some high octane in-camera action, and for the most part it does, when it isn't showering you with bad CGI and some very interesting physics. Due to the film being filmed in such a high frame rate, some action sequences feel very clean and simple. You almost see too much, and you see where the film is using too much CGI. The camera feels way too fixed and not doing anything interesting. When you think of action films like The Matrix and even Shang-Chi, action has to be filmed in a very specific way to make those scenes interesting. With the case of Mulan 2020, this film could really have done with a director who's used to filming action. The 2020 version gets a lot of shit for not having a Chinese director, but the original animated one wasn't either, so I'm not going to say that's a bad thing. But I will say is that they could definitely have done with someone who knows how to film action. The action sequences are fine, but you've seen them been done a lot better in other films. The original film tells this wonderful story about a girl who is obviously very different. She isn't interested in marriage and wants to bring honor to her family. It's a film about training hard and using what you have. I love that the original Mulan uses the fact that she is a woman to her advantage. She realizes that brute strength isn't what makes her strong. She is fast and she uses her brain to solve her problems. Mulan climbing the post to retrieve the arrow by using her intelligence instead of brute force is an amazing idea. The film isn't saying women can be as strong as men, it says women can do the same job, but use what you have and be proud of that. So this film definitely doesn't alienate one gender. Mulan uses the fact that she is a woman to her advantage. In the live action version, the arrow on a tall post is replaced with climbing a hill with buckets filled with water, whereby Mulan doesn't achieve that by using her brain, she achieves that by, just getting stronger and using her superpowers, or chi as it's referred to in this film. It doesn't feel accomplished like it does in the original. In the original, the whole point was Mulan uses the fact that she is a woman to her advantage. In the live action version, it basically says she's as strong as men. That's kind of it. And I just kind of don't like that. I love that the original just says she's a woman, she's proud, and she uses what she has, which is her brains and her speed. Mulan is an awesome film for women to look up to, and it also doesn't alienate men. Mulan's story is about using intelligence to solve a problem and to fight for your family's honor in the best way. Mulan is one of the best Disney princesses for that reason. She feels real, down to earth. I love her story as everything she does just feels earned and genuine. I really love it. The live action version is just a big disappointment in that it could have been better if it simply had a better director in this film. This type of movie needs someone who can hone down on those action sequences and get rid of those pointless characters. The film still probably wouldn't be as good as the original, but you could at least justify its existence. So after all that, Mulan 1998 gets my professional rating of 8 out of 10, and my personal rating of 8 out of 10 as well. As for Mulan 2020, it gets my professional rating of 5 out of 10, and my personal rating of 6 out of 10. It goes up 1 point because I can see how this film would have been good if they just ironed out the details. It's a huge shame because I really want to like this film. It's just a disappointment. So thank you for joining me in this first video of Versus. Let me know in the comment section what you thought of both Mulan 1998 and Mulan the 2020 version. Do you have a preference? And make sure to comment down below if you have any other films for the Versus series you would like me to do. If you got all this way, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more great content, and make sure to follow me on Instagram and all my other social media platforms as well. I hope you're having a fantastic day, guys, and I will see you all in the next one.